Hi, my name is Adewale Akinnuoye Agbaje. I'm a writer, actor, and director from Hollywood, and I'm here in Nigeria to promote the release of my directorial debut feature, Farming.
His name is Dtnow.
Please take care of our son. It's just until we finish our studies.
Do you want to be Mummy's favourite?
Ran out of electric, we've got to do is ask him to smile.
Like up the old bleeding street.
Vermin, filthy disease. I'm gonna step you out.
Farming is a concept that most people are introduced to through the film.
Not that I know of. I think that there was a case in 2000 called the Victoria Climby case, where a young Nigerian child died at the behest of her foster parents, who happened to be Nigerian. But the courts investigated the prevalence of the practice then. That's when we were able to understand the full extent of how many children have been farmed, thousands across the country. But they then suggested checks and balances be put in place so that these, fatalities couldn't occur. So I think the government took that advice, and that kind of effectively stamped out the practice. I think one or two cases it may happen, but certainly not to the degree that it occurred when I was a child. I surrounded myself with some of the best technical expertise that there is, from my editor, Dtnow, my DP, and my producers, who all served as an objective sounding board to my vision, and allowed me not to be swept up with emotion. And you realize even though you're telling a personal story, it's business, it's millions of pounds of other people's money, and there's a quota of scenes that need to be shot throughout the day. So as much as it was challenging and emotional material, whilst on set, I just didn't have time to languish in my emotions. I just had to keep the train moving. A huge exhalation and a sense of accomplishment. It's been such a long journey to get here, and also just I'm delighted with the response from the audience thus far. We screened it in London with many audiences, and they seem to have really picked up on many of the themes that are in the movie. So I'm delighted. I wasn't prepared for the well of emotion that it would evoke. I was instantly reduced to an 8-year-old boy that used to sit behind the sofa. So I had to gather my emotions for a quick second before the cast arrived. But that was that was a really interesting time, because it was done so well that it literally transported me back to that time and place. Well, I think, farming speaks to themes of identity, about belonging, acceptance. These are all themes that we still continue to search for today. And in fact, Britain as a nation are going through an identity crisis at the moment with Brexit. So a lot of the themes, very relatable to today. And I think, at its heart, farming is a love story. It's about the love or the importance of maternal and paternal love to the child, and the impact of the lack of that the search for that love and ultimately the finding of that love within oneself. That's what the film at its core is about. So I think those themes and issues can resonate with more or less anybody.
Did you ever have any dreams of what you wanted to be growing up as a boy, Annie?
Like paper, clean and white.
You're a pet.
Tilbury skins.
Tilbury skins.
Tilbury skins.
Tilbury skins.
Tilbury skins.
You've been running with them yellow skins, haven't you?
Beating up your own kind, thinking they want you.
You ain't like them. You're better.
They took everything that boy had.
Honey, oh my God. Look at his face. They fear their own kind.
I cannot know all that you have been through, but every day we get to make a new choice.
Can you say there's been any progress in racism?
Well, I think this film is going to go a long way to educate people about the impacts of racism, because when you watch Farming, you can see that there's a direct correlation between racism and self-hatred, and and not just racism. It shows how the impact of, say, homophobic slurs or sexist slurs can impact the human psyche to the point that they want to self-harm and self-hate them. You know what I mean? So I think Farming goes a long way to educating people about the impact of racism, both orally and physically. Probably the one where Damson Idris, who plays the teenage version of me, is attacked by the skinheads for the second time, and he's made to acknowledge what he is, which is an inferior, and somebody whose color makes him worthless. So he has to say it loud that he is nothing but a wog in those terms. That was a difficult scene to shoot and relive. Even though it's modern day and it happened 30 years ago, it was very challenging to shoot that emotionally. But we got it on screen, and we got it on screen dynamically. But every time I watch it, it touches my nerve button. I'm through telling this story, I kind of understand that my parents' generation were trying to survive and build a better life for us, and that's why they did it. So I acknowledge their struggle and their honest and intent, but at the same time I also acknowledge the consequences and the pain and the trauma that it caused on the children. So time is the best healer of all, and it's shown me that, I think when you write a film, you have to tell it from all people's perspectives and then allow the audience to judge. And that's what I've tried to do here. So absolutely, I've come to terms with their decision, and I've also come to terms with the impacts of their decision as well. I wouldn't say it's cemented in a sense that are we happily mother and son. I think we'll always be mother and son biologically, but it's somewhat estranged just because of the way that we were raised. At 6 weeks old, I was raised with a white family until I was 16, so my formative years were spent with a different mother. Do you know what I mean? So, but it hasn't stopped me from having a wonderful relationship with my mother. And in fact, what has happened is I've embraced both, you know what I mean, as the influences in my life. Oh yeah, I reconnected with my Nigerian heritage a long time ago, 25 years ago, when I started to come to Nigeria of my own volition, on my own terms, and rediscover my culture and my heritage. I found it really self-empowering and showed me who I am, where I'm from. and now regard Nigeria as home. So. Hi, my name is Adewale Akinnuoye Agbaje. I'm a writer, actor, director from Hollywood.